Hey world, what up? Okay, so this is a story that's been kind of going on within the past couple of days or so. Something that caught me by surprise. The Golden State Warriors are sitting at a 23 and 26 record, 10th seed in the Western Conference. And Steph Curry did not play last night, but the Golden State Warriors pretty much were blown out by the Toronto Raptors by 50 points. And that's something to not bat an eye on because the Golden State Warriors not having Klay Thompson for a second consecutive year is having a toll on Steph Curry. Not having his running mate Klay Thompson and not having any ideal star player alongside with him has brought Steph Curry one season missing the playoffs, let alone this season potentially missing the NBA playoffs. Now, do I expect the Golden State Warriors to pretty much have a taste to get into the NBA playoffs by the play-in tournament? I fully expect the Golden State Warriors to play in that play-in tournament when you have the 7th and 8th seed and the ninth and 10th. So potentially, if you're a 10th seed, you could get into the NBA playoffs. I do expect the Golden State Warriors to play in that play-in tournament. Do I expect them to get into the NBA playoffs? More of a 50-50. I would not be shocked if they do not get in, let alone if they do squeak in over like the San Antonio Spurs, for example, then it is what it is. But this is more of a story about Steph Curry potentially leaving the Golden State Warriors and joining potentially another franchise, especially for LeBron James and the LA Lakers, especially with the Brooklyn Nets forming that big three with former All-Stars such as LaMarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin. So if, for example, if the Brooklyn Nets do defeat the LA Lakers or any team in good fashion in the NBA Finals, this is something to where if you're Steph Curry and you do have Klay Thompson coming off two major injuries and you don't expect to make the finals or anything contending like that, that could leave an opportunity for Steph Curry to depart from the Golden State Warriors and join a contending team, especially the LA Lakers, to take down the Brooklyn Nets. Am I going to go that far with that thinking? No, I'm not. I fully expect the LA Lakers and the Nets to face off in the NBA Finals. I do expect the LA Lakers to win that matchup. So I'm not going to jump the gun about this Steph Curry story. Could it potentially happen? Yeah, it could. It could. LeBron James is very strategic the way he does by bringing Steph Curry on his team during the All-Star game and quote unquote having those Twitter posts and pretty much planning like that. LeBron James does have that feminine energy. He is very mischievous, let alone manipulative. So we'll see that on the back end, but let's jump into the story about potentially Steph Curry leaving the Golden State Warriors, and then number two, potentially joining LeBron James and Hollywood to the LA Lakers.
I got to tell y'all straight. Staying in Golden State would be the best possible, plausible thing for Steph Curry's legacy because, as I see it, Steph Curry's legacy is already cemented. He don't need to chase rings because he's not in that ring conversation for the greatest of all time. He's a three-time NBA champion. Not only that, he went to 5 consecutive NBA finals. You got to go back to like the 1950s or 60s to find someone else who has done such a feat, going to 5 straight with the same team, to be exact. You're talking about a 6-time All-NBA player. Steph Curry, just stay in Golden State because every time you change teams, your legacy takes a hit. See, LeBron James, he changed teams, went to Miami. Legacy, it took a hit. The difference was he was able to overcome the hit his legacy took because he won again. You talk about Shaquille O'Neal. When he left L.A. and went to the Heat, his legacy took a hit, but he overcome the hit that legacy took because he won again. Dirk Nowitzki, to me, because I'm from Dallas, he's a top 15 player of all time.
Never hide your Reese's eggs in a basket. I mean, come on. It's the first place they'll look.
Primarily because he never left Dallas. 20 years, same team, and now he got a statue up outside the arena. So, Steph Curry, staying in Golden State is the best thing for your legacy because you don't need to go chase rings and no shiny things like so many other dudes. You've already accomplished everything you needed to accomplish, and you did it by the team that brought you in. So, Slick Rick, I'm bringing you in to answer the question for me. What's best for Steph Curry's legacy? Is it leaving or staying with the Warriors?
Well, Steph Curry's around 32, 33 years of age. Recently, he's won 3 championships with the Golden State Warriors, and on my list, he is top 15 all-time in the NBA rankings. I do have Steph Curry sitting around number 12, number 13 in that mix. If Steph Curry wins another championship, and I fully expect him to, if he leaves the Warriors or not, I fully expect Steph Curry to finish his career with 4 NBA championships. And it's going to be whenever LeBron James retires. So if Steph Curry, as I expect him to finish off with the Golden State Warriors in his career. His game of play, he can play whenever he's in his 40s because he is an offensive guard initiator. He can play off the ball in a team offensive system. He is selfless, let alone he has a shooting ability, the greatest shooter of all time. Now, if we're talking within this scenario, Steph Curry did not elect to have an extension with the Golden State Warriors, and he could elect to become a free agent within the next off season to look within the scope of the NBA marketplace. Now, you've not had Klay Thompson in the last 2 seasons. I do not expect Steph Curry to leave the Golden State Warriors, especially not having Klay Thompson to join, for example, LeBron James, Los Angeles Lakers team. I do not expect that to happen. I fully expect this to be the area of LeBron James's glorified NBA years, to where I fully expect LeBron James to win a total of 6 NBA championships within his career. So LeBron has 4 championships. I fully expect LeBron James in the next 3 years to win 2 championships and then retire, passing Kareem all-time with 38,000 points, playing a season with his son, and let alone winning 6 championships and cutting it off within there. Now, that's probably going to be within the 2024 season. I fully expect Steph Curry, the Golden State Warriors, and the crew to win another championship in that range. And then you can go with Giannis and so on and so forth. Kind of speculation on a non-objective standard as I'm kind of spitting as of right there. But Steph Curry within the situation is aggravating for him because the last 5 seasons within 2015 and 2020, or to 2015 to 2019 in that range, they've went to 5 straight NBA Finals. They've dominated. He's won 73 games, back-to-back MVP, unanimous, and pretty much was top 2 NBA best player in the best player of the year award, or best player in the world, to him against LeBron James within those years. Now, Kevin Durant leaving, Klay Thompson hurt, and the team kind of mishandling. You do have a situation to the Golden State Warriors and Steph Curry to where you're having blowout losses. And this is something that's unprecedented. We've never seen with the Golden State Warriors within this era of basketball with Steph Curry and the crew. So Steph Curry is a type I could see him leave the Golden State Warriors, but to join the LA Lakers, if he's going to join the Lakers, LeBron James has another 2 seasons left in his belt. Is Steph Curry really going to join the Lakers for that range? No, I don't expect that. I fully expect Steph Curry, he is aware that where if he were to retire with 3 rings, it is what it is, but Steph Curry wants to win more rings. He understands he can because he has a shooting ability to where this could resemble in the next 5 to 7 years of being pure dominance in the NBA. So he fully expects he can win at least 2 more rings in the NBA. I fully expect Steph Curry, his mindset is he can win at least 2 more rings, if anything, maybe 3 or so. But at the end of the day, I fully expect Steph Curry and the Warriors to win at least 1 more NBA championship before calling quits. But that's a little too much on there.
I agree with all that you said, Acho. I know that's a rarity, but I do. However, staying with Golden State still is the second best thing that he could do.
Talk to me.
No, he should not. He should not leave to chase rings. But staying in Golden State is also not going to get him a ring. And I know how delusional Warriors fans are right now living in the Bay Area. They believe as soon as Klay comes back, oh, we're right back on that championship horse again. And the reality is the dynasty is over. They're not going to get back there again. They had the dynasty when they were paying Steph in particular $11 million a year.
Now, listen to me. If Klay Thompson was back with that team, the Warriors are going to be easy Western Conference Finals participants. Easy. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are one of the best NBA duos of all time, being the 2 best NBA three-point shooters of all time, let alone best shooters of all time, Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. Now, Curry's not had Klay Thompson the last 2 seasons, so all of the defense has been paying attention to Steph Curry whenever he's playing off ball, on ball, so on and so forth. Having Klay Thompson, him with Steph Curry, that team right there with the system brings the energy, that juice, that that the NBA making of them to become championship contenders, and everyone plays on with it. Without Klay Thompson, it takes off one part of the trinity when it comes to him, Dre, and Klay. Now, if you have him, Klay, and Dre that are healthy, they're easily Western Conference participants. Easy, easy. Now, if they're going in the second round against the Lakers or the LA Clippers, that's going 6 or 7 games. But besides from that, it is what it is whenever it comes to the Western Conference participants. They can win an NBA championship without Kevin Durant once again. But now we're in the day and age to where LeBron James and the crew and the Brooklyn Nets have stacked up. They have height, they have depth, and the Warriors are lacking as of right now, especially with Klay Thompson out. So, I fully expect the Golden State Warriors within the next 3 to 4 seasons with a healthy Klay, Steph Curry, and the crew to win one NBA championship before they retire and head off. Kind of like resembling the 2014 NBA San Antonio Spurs.
Before they had to pay Draymond Green, before they had to pay Klay Thompson, getting back there is not realistic. And what's going to happen is there's going to be disappointment as a result of the fact that the expectations are so high and they're not going to meet them. But he shouldn't chase rings either. To your point, it's part of his legacy and his brand and his reputation that he is loyal. But there is one place that he could go that would add to his legacy. And it's not about adding rings. It's going back home to Charlotte, North Carolina, and the Charlotte Hornets.
No. Hey, I'm going to stop you right there. Listen, no. There's no way, no how that Steph Curry should join the Charlotte Hornets. This quote-unquote narrative of quote-unquote coming back home was overwhelming whenever LeBron James came back into 2015. And they use that same quote-unquote standard for other NBA players out there. That's nonsense as can be. Steph Curry is not going to leave the Warriors to join the Hornets. And if they don't win a championship, it's a waste as can be. What's the point of joining the Charlotte Hornets if you're just going to have some deep playoff runs and that's it? Nah. He's going to stay with the Golden State Warriors with Klay Thompson and the crew, and he'll end off his career within there. I can see Steph Curry leave the Warriors, but at the end of the day, I fully expect Steph Curry to stay with the Warriors and stay quote-unquote loyal. Not only just loyal, but he's good where he's at.
And lifting that team the same way that he lifted the Golden State Warriors. That would add to his legacy, and I dare say the people, even in the Bay Area, would not begrudge Steph that move because it would be in keeping with who he is.
Steph Curry's around 32, 33 years of age. He's not going to go to the Charlotte Hornets, that franchise, whenever they have a LaMelo Ball and they have a new young direction. That makes zero sense for him. And even if he were to leave to another franchise like Charlotte, he's going to be required to win an NBA championship. If he doesn't, that's not a good look. And he's not going to leave the Warriors to go to the Hornets for what? To prove what? I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yes.
Interesting. CB, your thoughts?
Yeah, that was interesting. First of all, Acho, like Rick, look, I agree with what you said. Everything except Dirk being the top 15 player, but that's another conversation for another day.
I let that go.
Rick, you had me intrigued, Rick.
Shopping with Google helps you find whatever you're looking for, like workout shirts for at-home athletes. You can find the best value, read reviews, even see what's available nearby. Your best shopping starts with Google.
I do have my top 13 down, all-time rankings, but for Dirk Nowitzki, I would say on the safe bet, top 20, top 25. I'll have to really narrow down my top 15, top 20, but as of right now, I'll comfortably say Dirk Nowitzki's top 20, top 25. I'll make another video another day going more in depth with the top 15 and such and see where he's at.
But Charlotte, here's the problem with going to Charlotte. They're not going to win a championship, right? He wouldn't leave.
Listen, I'm not going to hear this conversation about him going to Charlotte. That's not worth it, a conversation, so I'm going to skip a little bit.
He gains if he goes to the Lakers. However, I'll throw one caveat, and I still don't know that it makes sense. But what if the Brooklyn Nets run through the league this year? They go through the Eastern playoffs, lose maybe 2 games. They get to the finals and play the Clippers or the Lakers or whoever is out of the West and win in 5 or sweep them. if they look like the Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant, then you will see teams trying to put together a juggernaut that can compete with that team. That's the only way that you could make any sense of Steph going to the Lakers to say, okay, we got to put together something that could beat the Lakers. I think it'd be better getting Dame Lillard because he needs a ring or rings, but he's always said he wouldn't join the super team. So if I'm Steph, I'm saying to LeBron, when LeBron calls, why don't you come to Golden State? People expect you to move around. You come join me.
Nah. If LeBron wanted to join Golden State, that would have been after winning the 2016 NBA Finals, to where LeBron James was then a free agent. But he elected to join the Cleveland Cavaliers, re-signing for a 3-year deal, but 2 years with a player option. So if LeBron James really wanted to join the Warriors, it would have been after winning that championship and entering the 2017 season. But we knew that wasn't going to happen, as it is. Now, as we're looking at the Brooklyn Nets, if they were to steamroll, quote-unquote steamroll against the NBA and win the NBA championship by dominating in great fashion, then it's going to leave him a little more intriguing taste for Steph Curry to potentially join the LA Lakers. Now, even if you are Steph Curry, join the Lakers, what, you're enjoying there for 2 to 3 seasons? That's not going to be worth it, as LeBron James is probably going to retire within the next 3 seasons or so. I fully expect the LA Lakers to beat the Brooklyn Nets as it is. So even though the Brooklyn Nets are quote-unquote monsters and a super team in the NBA, I still fully expect the LA Lakers to take on their weaknesses by not having a defensive anchor with the Nets and taking down the Nets in the NBA Finals, to where LeBron James wins another ring, the Nets will reload for next season, Steph Curry will stay with the Golden State Warriors. But this is kind of side talk as of right now we're seeing within the story.
Hey, CB, I love rapping with y'all. I love rapping with y'all basketball heads because y'all can talk off the cuff. So I'm going to bring up an off-the-cuff conversation. Slick Rick, you purely and thoroughly gave your answer. CB, you thoroughly gave your answer. I was thinking about this. One of the reasons Steph doesn't need to go anywhere is because he's one of the top 5 most influential basketball players in the last 30 years. I look at Michael Jordan. I look at Allen Iverson as far as what he did for the culture of basketball. I look at Shaquille O'Neal. When Shaquille O'Neal left, the true big started to leave. We're just now seeing it with a couple guys in the NBA. I look at LeBron James because he is the King James. And then I have Steph Curry. Trae Young wasn't shooting from the logo before Steph Curry. Bron wasn't even shooting from the logo before Steph Curry. Dame Lillard surely wasn't shooting from the logo before Steph Curry. Where do y'all see Steph Curry as far as the most influential or one of the most influential players in the history of the game? CB, I'll go to you first.
AI, MJ, Steph Curry, one of the top 3 players that come to mind about the most influential, especially with Steph Curry this day and age. We saw LaMelo Ball 4 seasons ago as a freshman in high school, pulling up from half court, shooting those shots. And we've seen everyone else, these young cats, when you're playing an open gym or anything like that, they'll pull it from long range from 3-point, not only from a catch and shoot, but bring up the basketball. So Steph Curry brought in that new day and age of small ball in the NBA. As back in the day, we saw those Jeff Greens of the world play the 3. Now they're playing the 4. And as you go a little more deeper, now they're playing the 5. You could be around 6'6", 6'7", playing the 5 now. And back in the day and age, you have to be around a small forward. But the NBA now in this day and age is playing the small ball. You have to pretty much be a stretch 5, anything around 80% of these quote-unquote centers to shoot from the outside and go on from there. So these players that were resembling a Steph Curry, as we've seen with Buddy Hield in college, same thing with Trae Young, and so on and so forth. He's one of the most influential players in NBA history.
I didn't agree with, was it Shaq that said he's the most influential over the last 30 years? I would go with Jordan, clearly. But I think Steph is second for the reasons you said. I was listening for Kobe on your list. We can argue if he's in the top 5, but I would go with Steph second just because, to your point, I mean, we can go to gyms throughout the country now. What are we going to see? Little kids shooting 20-foot shots at 8 and 9 years old. And as you mentioned,
bingo.
All these guys that are shooting these deep threes, it is all because of Steph Curry. Look, you can't say this about many players. Steph Curry changed the game of basketball.
Correct.
He changed the game of basketball. And for all the detractors that want to say Kevin Durant got him rings or whatever they may want to say, you can never argue this guy changed basketball. So I think he's second only to Michael Jordan.
Wow. Slick.
I can't separate Steph from the Warriors. If Steph demonstrated what he did in shooting from range, would that have become a thing if it wasn't part of the Warriors winning championships? In and of itself, shooting from that range. I mean, let's flip it around. Trae Young comes in and he's that first guy doing it with the Atlanta Hawks. Does that suddenly become a thing that Dame Lillard and every other perimeter player wants to be able to do? And then do teams allow them to do that? So I do believe he's influential. I do think he's the best shooter that we've ever seen. But that extending the range, I just can't separate it. I think the Warriors are the most influential team that we've seen in the last 30 years because they've changed the way the game is played. But that has much to do with Draymond Green being a point forward, Klay Thompson being equally adept at shooting from range as Steph. I just can't take that away. They took a small ball to a new level, and Steph was a part of that. Now, you asked me, CB, like, why would he go to Charlotte if he can't win rings there? Well, he can't win.
Steph Curry is not going to leave the Golden State Warriors to join the Charlotte Hornets. If he were to leave, quote unquote, the Warriors, which is not going to happen, if he were to leave the Warriors, it would have to be with the LA Lakers, a contending NBA championship team, to win a championship. He's not going to leave the Warriors to join a quote unquote hometown team or team to pretty much make the playoffs or something like that. That's not going to happen. Steph Curry's 33 years of age. He has a family. He's settled. He's fine. He's won 3 championships. He's won 2 back-to-back MVPs. He's top 15 all-time in the NBA rankings. One of the most influential basketball players of all time. He's not going to leave to join the Charlotte Hornets. No.
Rings in Golden State. I think we've established that dynasty is run. If he goes any place else to win rings, even if he goes to the Lakers, there's always been this low rumble of whether is Steph really Batman or Robin. He's Batman, but he wasn't necessarily.
All right, I'm going to off there. Listen, Steph Curry, even though with Kevin Durant joined the team, Steph Curry was the best player on that team. I do not care if anyone says it's Kevin Durant. That's two-dimensional thinking. Steph Curry had a 73-9 team, and he was running pretty much running the NBA as it was. Now, people can talk about that 2016 NBA Finals with the Cavaliers coming back. It was a little sketchy on the back end. You guys can do your own research. You guys can do your own thing on that side. But Steph Curry and the Warriors were dominating the NBA. And 2017, they were going to destroy the Cleveland Cavaliers in the finals without Kevin Durant. I do not care what anyone says about that. Steph Curry was the best player on that team. Curry right now has 3 NBA championships. He should have 2 finals MVP, but he should have it in 2015. I do not understand why they gave it to Iguodala. I get it based on that narrative, and they want to protect their boo thing, LeBron James. In 2018, it should have gone to Steph Curry, not Kevin Durant. Now, it should have been 60% to Steph Curry and 40% to KD. It was pretty close due to Game 3 of that 2018 NBA Finals, but Steph Curry should have won that award. But as of right now, I fully expect Steph Curry to stay at the Golden State Warriors. And within the next couple of seasons, within the back end when he's 35, I fully expect Steph Curry and the crew, with Klay Thompson, to win one last NBA championship, kind of like resembling a 2014 NBA San Antonio Spurs. And I do expect Steph Curry to win 1 Finals MVP before hanging it up. But that's not on an objective standard. That's what I just kind of see in the NBA landscape, what I fully expect the trend to be. But besides from that, Steph Curry is not going to lead to join the LA Lakers. Now, if the Brooklyn Nets are that dominant, that will leave an opportunity to where Steph Curry could potentially go to the LA Lakers, but I don't expect that to happen at all whatsoever. But who knows in this day and age in the NBA? But we'll go from there.